how do we bring joy? How do we speak of joy? That is why it's important for us to understand Christian joy rests on Christian hope. The basis of Christian joy is really hope. So long as you have hope, you will have this anticipatory joy. That is why we all lived and survive on hope alone. We hope, and that is why we continue to struggle on in life, that our life will get better, situation will improve. Those who have given up hope eventually will give up their lives. When we talk about Christian joy, therefore, it's a question of, do we have hope? Jesus for us is that hope for humanity. Jesus who came to preach a message of love. The revolution that Jesus came to bring about was not a political revolution, not even a social revolution. It was a revolution, first and foremost, of the human heart. Going back to God, returning to the values of the gospel, forgiveness, honesty, integrity, in communion with God, love for our brothers and sisters. And that will, in fact, bring about a social and then a political revolution. But it was not directly social and political. It was a spiritual renewal. But of course, what is spiritual will have impact on the way we live our lives. So, my dear brothers and sisters, did Jesus coming fulfill the hope of humanity? It was a partial fulfillment, not complete. Because if you look at the world today, only 1/3 confess their faith in Jesus. And even that of the 1/3, how many are truly living the gospel life? How many are truly faithful to the gospel? Oh, today Christian faith has been twisted and turned to suit people's liking. They are no more following the gospel teaching, the teaching of the Bible of our Lord. Now many people have given up on faith altogether. And we look at the moral situation in the world today. It's no more a state of immorality, it's a state of amorality. So how can we say that Jesus' coming has brought us hope? The Christian hope is not hope in this world ultimately. It is the hope in the next world. That's why Christmas is celebrated in view of the second coming. So it's the second coming that we Christians look forward to. Only then will Christian hope be fulfilled. But even that, it is important to understand what we mean when we say Christian hope fulfills our lives. Christian hope is always a dynamic hope, an unceasing hope. Christian hope is not a static hope. Let me explain. All of us, as I've said, in life, for us to grow, we need to hope. So a young man studies hard. His hope is that he will graduate with double honors. And the moment he arrives and he graduates with a double honor, hope is over. Now he has to look for another hope. So the problem with the world is this. We are seeking from one pursuit to another. We are never satisfied because, as St. Augustine tells us, our hearts are restless until they rest in God. We are chasing from one thing to another because nothing in this world can satisfy our human heart. They are all passing or transient. Those of you who want plenty of money, the day when you have more than enough money, you just do not know what to do with them. You just want to give them away. And this is true. We pass this kind of attitude even towards relationship. a young man chasing after a beautiful girl, a girl chasing after the boy. That is their hope. They keep on chasing. The moment when they are caught, so to speak, when they're in relationship, or when they are married, or even outside marriage, what do? They get bored with each other. Now they look for another new partner. That's why today many relationships are not stable, because we look for a relationship as if we are looking for a trophy. The moment we get the trophy, we put it on the bookshelf. Then we look for someone else. Christian hope, ultimately Christian joy, is a joy that calls for intimacy with the Lord. Intimacy is what satisfies the human heart. Intimacy brings joy. That is why John the Baptist went to the desert to pray, to contemplate. Mary sang with great joy because Mary was very close, intimate with the Lord. Intimacy brings us joy. And you notice, intimacy has no bottom. It's bottomless, because when we love someone, the more we love, the more we discover the beauty of this person. That's why those of you who have been married for 50 years, 60 years, the longer you get married, the longer, the deeper the joy. And same in our relationship with God. No one can ever say to God, I have enough love, or I have loved you fully. Love has no ending. It is always growing and growing. And that is what we mean when we say our hearts are rested in God. This resting is not a static resting. It is not to say, now you see God, okay, everything is over. No, this joy will keep on growing. Heaven is dynamic, not static, unlike on this earth. Christian joy is not just only a sentimental joy. Integrity brings us joy. When you live a blameless life, your conscience is free, you are joyful. It's already a foretaste of the joy that is to come. That is why those of you who have not gone for the sacrament of reconciliation, go, pray, meditate, and you will have a foretaste of this joy. Because the reason why we are not happy is because our heart is divided. We are confused. Go and be reconciled. And finally, the greatest joy is one of gratitude. Gratitude for all that God has done for you. Be thankful. Give thanks to God. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let us heed the words of John the Baptist. Make a straight way for the Lord. Let us welcome Him with joy by living a blameless life. And most of all, spending some time in prayer, in intimacy with the Lord as we prepare for the feast of Christmas.